This video is sponsored by Keys Fan. I've been having an eye on the Galaxy Z Fold for a long time. I've never seen myself owning one because I'm an iPhone user and I'm pretty much dissolved into Apple ecosystem. Everything I do and everything I have, all the applications are on Apple ecosystem and I'm quite comfortable with them. But I made a bold move and I bought one. I bought the Galaxy Z Fold as a main phone and I've been using it for the past month. The reason for that, the motive was I was waiting for iPad mini and the latest release of iPad mini 7 quite disappointed me because I think Apple did something very lazy. If you check iPad mini 6 next to iPad mini 7, you barely notice any difference. The bezels are there. The turning off 60 Hz displays is still there. Storage got a bump. The CPU got a bump, but that's not what a lot of people are looking up to because, for example, if you were in the market for the past few years, literally every phone, even subprime phones, non-flagships, are having either 90 Hz or a 120 Hz display. And in terms of chipset, are all quite competitive. You have more processing power than you need. What I was hoping to see from Apple was at least a 120 Hz display because right now the iPad mini is working with Apple Pencil Pro and it doesn't make sense to use a technology that belongs to, I don't know, 5 or 6 years ago, and after 3 years keep your consumers waiting for the upgrade and you give them this and what, like they have to wait for another 3 years for another upgrade? I don't think iPad mini works for me anymore. And the iPad Pro, which I had previously, iPad Pro 11-inch, is too big. It's just like something overkill for me to carry around. So this made me try two-in-one, like Galaxy Z Fold, having a phone and tablet at the same time and see how it goes. But I noticed something. In the past month, since I bought this phone, I barely touched my iPhone and it easily turned to be one of the most productive devices that I've ever had. So let's continue with this video and I'll break down everything for you. But before that, I need to tell you more about the sponsor of this video. This video is sponsored by Keys Fan. Keys Fan is a reseller of software products and they have attractive sales going on at the moment. Keys Fan is respected and trusted by a lot of users and their Trustpilot reviews speak for themselves. They have a sale going on at the moment on the Microsoft products such as Microsoft Office Bundles 2024, 2019, and Windows products such as 11 and 10, both home and professional, and a lot more that you can browse for yourself. All the relevant links and the discount code are placed in the description. To apply a discount code, simply copy the code and drop your relevant product into your basket, continue to check out, and then paste your discount code and press apply. You should automatically deduct the promotion price from your total basket price. You can use PayPal or any major credit or debit card to pay for your product. Visa and MasterCard are supported. So first, what are my usages of this device? So this device is pretty much everything that an iPhone was for me, and it completely replaced my main phone, and I'm using my iPhone as a secondary phone now. I use it for mind mapping. I create charts for my full-time job as a software engineer. I do note-taking on it, task management of course, expense tracking, reading, language learning, and learning through YouTube, Pluralsight, and Udemy, and also browsing. Now the hardware on this device is very capable and it makes the experience flawless and very fluid and smooth. I barely had any issue with software and the OS and the fluidity of the user experience. The two-in-one on demand on this phone completely replaced iPad and iPhone for me, so it's just like carrying an iPad and iPhone at the same time. The aspect ratio on this phone is brilliant. Both portrait and landscape are very usable in compared to iPad mini. The landscape is perfect for watching contents online and movies and anything that is streamed. The portrait mode for side-by-side application on this phone is really usable. For example, here are some real case scenarios that I've been using this phone and I thought, oh, this wasn't possible previously or on an iPad. For example, when I'm expense tracking, I can open my bank application on one side and my expense tracker on another side and enter my transactions. How many times happen to you that you need to call someone or somewhere and you need to provide some details on the keypad? On this phone, it was a scenario that I had to call a loan provider And on one side I had the call, and on the other side I had the notes and all the details that I needed to enter. And I noticed, okay, previously I had to switch between applications to get this information, and it wasn't convenient. Right now I can have them side by side. Another case was transferring money to a friend. Then I had his account details, and on the other side I had my bank application, entering directly without switching application. The S Pen is also a great companion to this device. For example, when I'm using S Pen to draw charts or draw in concept, or even write down notes in concept and then share it to my Obsidian application, it helps me take note, it helps me draw things, and it helps me mind map. Besides that, if you have a Windows PC, you can link this phone to your PC and benefit from the feature like mirroring, like what Apple has done in the latest macOS and iOS release. So you can now mirror your phone completely, but I think it's more capable because you can open more than one application and you can have them side by side. This phone has ability to completely turn to a desktop as well. If I just connect it to my monitor, the DeX activates itself and this phone turns to be a desktop. Unfolding it, you can have a large trackpad and you can use it also as a keyboard. But if you just use it as a trackpad and connect your external keyboard to it, then you have like a full desktop experience on this phone, which is a lifesaver at times. As for gaming, I don't have a lot of opinion because I'm a heavy gamer on PC, but not on mobile devices. But I tried this for a few games and it was quite capable. Playing Unfolded was also very pleasant. One of the best things about this phone and generally Android devices is that it's never going to be boring. Coming from an iPhone, I would say at times it gets really boring, but the amount of customization that you can do on this phone is insane. I used to have One UI experience and it wasn't as customizable as it is at this moment because when I installed a lot of different features like Good Luck and Theme Park, I noticed, oh, now a lot of things can be changed in compared to the past. And these are not only limited to beauty or the UI, user interface, but also the user experience, the modify of the gestures, adding views, things that make your life easier and give you more comfort. Resizing and reshaping your keyboard, like for example, makes your typing experience really pleasant, both folded and unfolded. You have themes, you have Good Luck, which basically is designed by Samsung to give you a lot of customizability. Besides what the stock One UI gives you, icons can now be changed through Theme Park, which previously you had to install a custom launcher for this. And last but not least, you can change the notification and ring sound throughout the system or for each individual application. Now listen to these and tell me if these sounds familiar to you. And finally, holding this phone in one hand is really pleasant, both folded and unfolded. I think it's because of the aspect ratio of this phone. Even putting it in the chunky outer case that I have is still pleasant to hold it, although it just turns the phone literally into a brick. I often use this phone at night to read, and I would say it's completely comfortable to hold it. And especially if you fold it a tiny bit, then you can see that you have a grip on your phone that you can hold on to for a long time to read. And it also gives me a feeling that I'm holding a real book in my hand. So let's focus a little bit on the downside of the phone. What are the cons? First thing first, the battery life didn't work great for me. I wasn't impressed by the battery life, although my usage was average. I noticed the always on display drains the battery like mad. It usually around 5 to 6% of the battery life goes to always on display. I didn't turn it off, but that's what I got from the percentages. The other thing is, if you're like me, switch from iPhone to this phone, you might find some of the applications missing. Like for example, you can't find an alternative for applications like Things, like Bear, like Fantastical, those applications that were designed by Swift UI. Native Swift UI for third-party application is really fluid and gives you a completely different experience than Android applications. This is not a deal breaker, but if you care about user experience, then you're going to miss some of those applications. But I would say in terms of OS, what I see at the moment from One UI is way above iOS, because iOS 18 right now is following Android by a few years. And from the capability and new customizations that I saw in One UI, I would say this is way ahead of iOS now. And also, if you are an artist, this cannot be a go-to device for you, a serious artist. Because, first of all, this crease here in the middle of the screen is completely, you can feel it. When you pass your S Pen through it, you can feel it. And S Pen itself is not quite a match for Apple Pencil Pro. And beside all of this, you wouldn't find applications like Procreate on the Android yet. I don't know about other drawing applications. If you know, just let me know. But I don't think a serious artist would be able to use this as a main device. And the last thing is accessories. I've been searching for cases and accessories, and it all turned to be trash because I think the nature of this design, which there's a limited space here for creating a proper case which is not detachable. I tried Samsung cases, and if you check the Amazon reviews for all of them, are just nightmare. And even right now that I'm recording this video, there's another case arrived, so I'm trying this. So far, the Otter case was the best, but it's too chunky, and the rest were just like nightmarish and flimsy. I hope this video gave you a sense of how it feels to switch from iPhone to a Z Fold. And what I'm gonna do next, gonna be finding alternative for all the productivity applications that I had in the past and do some more reviews on the Android applications to have a wider audience. So stay tuned and I'll see you in the next one. Thanks for watching.